Razaban for FightHype.com with me. I've got Mr. Adam Booth. Adam, good to see you today.
How you doing?
Sharp as always. I like the colour coordination.
What, black and blue?
No, not black and blue. The dark at the bottom and then the light at the top.
Black and blue.
Black and blue. Adam, we're here for a monumental event, a huge event in anti-Joshua and Wladimir Klitschko. The young line versus the old line. A lot of people have questioned, and I've spoken to many pundits, many boxers, ex-boxers, and said, what are your thoughts? And everyone I seem to speak to is split. A lot of people say Anthony's too young, too fresh, Klitschko's too old. Some people say the break didn't do him too good. Some people say the break did him wonders. What are the thoughts of Adam Booth on this fight?
Well, I've thought about the fight. I keep going backwards and forwards, and there's two key factors. The first one is that there is nothing that Wladimir Klitschko hasn't seen in a world championship ring. Not just a boxing ring, but at world championship level. When we're talking about winning, losing, being knocked down, being knocked out, knocking guys out, winning on points, losing on points. There's absolutely nothing that he hasn't experienced as a at world championship level in 68 fights. And then you go to AJ, who effectively has had about as smooth a ride as anyone could do as a fighter to where he is today, bar one left hook from Dillian Whyte. So in terms of experience, there couldn't be a bigger gap. The difference in experience is frightening. It's a mismatch when you look at that. But then you look at Anthony's age and his physical capabilities, and you look at Vlad's age, and the gap's equal there. The difference in where they are physically as fighting men and young men is almost as big as the difference between them in experience. And that's it in a nutshell. It is the most obvious battle of youth, energy and freshness over experience and guile and cunning and know-how. And that's why I'm flipping backwards and forwards. So at the end of the day, it is a young man's sport. You can't buy experience, and skills are essential. But in heavyweight boxing, where the physical power has so much more of an impact than any other division, I have to go with youth on this one.
What style would Klitschko present on Saturday now? We've seen him in the past. We saw in the David Hay fight where he stood on the back foot and just controlled David with that jab, grab, and he's done that. Well, he's been criticised to do that throughout.
Well, he actually controlled David with pressure on footwork by always being in front of him, but then when the threat was returned, he would drift off at an angle. I see Vlad moving Anthony and being very mobile and looking to nullify the dangerous shots coming at him with movement and his trickiness. That's what I see Vlad doing.
And Joshua, in terms of, he hasn't been past, I believe, 6-7 rounds. I think 7 rounds Dominic Brazil took him, or Dillian Whyte. But do you think that the later the fight goes, the favourite Klitschko becomes, or do you think that 18 months out of the ring really won't have much effect in the second half of the fight?
I think it certainly favours Vlad. If you look at how Vlad can win the fight, you'd say that he's less likely to win it early and more likely to win it late. And if you look at Anthony, you probably flip it around the other way.
I spoke to Lennox Lewis a couple of months ago, and I said to him, when is Anthony-Joshua rate within the current heavyweight? And he said he's more or less there at the top, Tyson Fury, etc. But then I said to him, how would you compare Anthony-Joshua to your era of the Lewis, the Tyson, the Holyfield? And he didn't really want to comment, and he said, well, I don't really like to compare eras. Anthony-Joshua being as good as he is with his 18 opponents, is he as good, and can he be as good as those elite fighters we saw in those 90s?
Yes, he can be as good as them, but he's only on his journey. He's on the first steps of his journey at championship level, and you have to assess it when it's all said and done, not while the journey is going on. Mike Tyson wasn't in Lennox Lewis's era. The Mike Tyson that was in Lennox Lewis's era was the Tyson that was way past his best, who had suffered a lot. And when Lennox beat him, that wasn't a prime Mike Tyson. Tyson was in the era before. Evander Holyfield's era was with Tyson and slightly before Tyson as well at that time. So Lennox's era was Lennox and Vitaly, Lennox and Razor Ruddock. You know, these were the guys that he fought when they were in their prime. But you can't compare eras because sport is always evolving and changing, and training methods and the way that things are governed and scored, it's always changing. You can only judge someone in his generation, and Anthony's journey is at the start of championship level, and we'll see how it goes. And tomorrow night is really his first test.